Hey everyone, Andrew here. I just wanted to do something a little different. I know I've been kind of pushing hard on the Switch 2 content, and don't worry, it's still gonna happen. I promise. But one of my side hobbies is collecting vinyl for specifically game soundtracks. So I thought I would kind of go through my collection, which when I pulled everything out, it ended up being much more than I remembered. So I guess we'll just kind of get started then. All right, so my first one here, I have the vinyl OST for Battle Garega. It's really cool, classic shmup by Rising. Got this in a collector's bundle with the game. It's just very neat. Didn't expect to get this when I bought that, but I got it. So I mean, hey, nice. So next up, another classic shmup. I've got the Darius original. So this is the Zuntata Taito Sound Team arcade version. Very iconic, very weird, slightly haunting. It's just, honestly, I got it mostly for the art. I'm not gonna lie. It's just a very neat aesthetic. But I mean, the music's good too, as is expected with Darius. And speaking of music being good, this is probably one of my favorite shmup soundtracks. It's for Ikaruga or Ikaruga, however you want to pronounce it. I've been on the fence for so many years of my life at this point that I just don't even. I'll say one or the other, but a phenomenal soundtrack. It's actually a sequel to a certain arcade cabinet I have right behind me, which is really neat. And speaking of that arcade cabinet behind me, I've got Radiant Silvergun. Shocker. Another phenomenal soundtrack. It's made by Hitoshi Sakamoto. He did music for Square Enix, like he did music on Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 12, basically the Evil East games. Some of his songs are in Final Fantasy 14, which is cool stuff. Another shmup, probably noticing a trend here. Gradius 2. This is, again, mostly purchased because of the cool art, but this has Burning Heat. And Burning Heat is one of the best songs in a shmup, in my opinion. It's also a really banging song on a DDR and Beatmania 2DX for my rhythm game nerds out there. This one's cool. I like this soundtrack a good bit. It's for Octopath Traveler. Picked this up off of Square Enix's website when it went on sale, and I'm glad I did because there are some genuinely beautiful pieces of music in there. Oh, I was actually hoping to save this one, but that's okay. I'll go with it. So this is for Panzer Dragoon. And what makes this special is that this actually has Sayori Kobayashi's signature. Like, this is actually a real signature right here. I was very fortunate to have been able to buy this with the signature. And I will never take that card off of there because that is super cool. Of course, Kobayashi did the soundtrack for Panzer Dragoon Orta. Also did the remix tracks for the Panzer Dragoon remix. Or remake. Alright, now for a completely different genre of video game, I've got my Silent Hill 3 vinyl. So much you could say about Silent Hill music. I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and it's just kind of timeless. And I really hope that Silent Hill F or Forte or whatever they're going to call it, I hope it can keep up with that. And of course, I wouldn't have Silent Hill soundtracks without Silent Hill 2. Kind of one of the big deals of horror gaming. It's kind of sort of a masterpiece. So I would be very upset if I didn't have that in my collection. What are you doing? Anyways, next up, this might come as a surprise, but we got another Silent Hill. This is for The Room, which I think is highly underrated Silent Hill game. In fact, I would almost say that it's one of the better ones. Kind of had a weird development. Came out. It was basically in development alongside Silent Hill 3. It's a drastically different game, but I think it's just as special. They really just don't make games like that anymore, really. I mean, outside of remakes, but who's counting those? All right, here's a cool one. I'm actually really happy I got this. It's very nostalgic from my Nintendo 64 childhood. Bomberman Hero. This was one that when I saw it became available, I had to have it because, I mean, it's so just packed with nostalgia. And Bomberman Hero is one of my favorite Nintendo 64 platformers, and the soundtrack is just really cool. It's just like a breakcore house style music, really neat. And okay, this is where the judgment happens. Sonic Adventure. So a little story here. Sonic Adventure was a game that when I was a little child, for my birthday, my parents got me a Dreamcast copy of Sonic Adventure. And I think that is where my problems started, if I'm being honest, because this was my obsession for way too long, and this soundtrack still gets played by me on multiple devices that I own pretty much on a almost weekly basis at this point. Absolutely love, like, you know, Station Square is just such a fantastic. Okay, we're moving on to probably even more of what has led me to be problematic. Sonic Adventure 2. You probably saw this one coming. If I had Sonic Adventure 1, I have Sonic Adventure 2. This is the, you know, Escape from the City, you got Live and Learn, and of course all of the jams from the Knuckles stages, a Ghost Pumpkin Soup, Dive into the Mellow, which is my favorite. That's from Aquatic Mine, one of the weaker stages in the game, but the song is just, it reminds me a lot of, like, just, I feel like it was like they directly took inspiration from some artists like MF Doom, if that makes sense. So love that. And now we're kind of going back into my alternate side of fandom. Something I don't think I've mentioned on the channel once, but Bloodborne. I am a massive Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, sort of into Elden Ring a little bit, but honestly, I that's an opinion for another day. Love Bloodborne though, and I love this soundtrack. I haven't opened it yet because I kind of want to keep this one for a special day, like a good Halloween or something. Love it. Also love this. This is, I don't know the legality of it, but if you don't know what this is by the picture, this is the Jammin' Sam Miller recreation of the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack. And let me tell you, this man, he put in the work. He got all the original, like, sound fonts and, like, all the original equipment, and he just went to work. Like, he genuinely was able to create the cleanest sounding recreation of this soundtrack I think I've ever heard. And I'm pretty sure if you go on YouTube and look up Donkey Kong Country OST, chances are, for the high quality ones you're going to find on YouTube, they're his renditions. Alright, so this is one that I did kind of buy for the art, but it's also kind of an important one for me. It's the Final Fantasy 35th Anniversary orchestration, or orchestral music collection. This is some very beautiful music, like genuinely cool artwork. I would take it out of the sleeve. I've listened to it a couple times. I try to keep these things in as best condition as I can. But yeah, this has just music from across the franchise, and there's some genuinely really awesome just orchestra covers of some really iconic soundtracks. Speaking of iconic, game very, very near and dear to my heart from my childhood. Don't think I should have played it when I did, but honestly, looking back on it, it's really not that bad. That's the Metal Gear Solid soundtrack. This is just, it's an iconic classic. Some really, really memorable tracks in here that I may not listen to it as much. Like, it's not really in my rotation, but I can tell you with certainty that I hear many of these tracks in my head at least once a week. This one's kind of weird. I got it really cheap. I mostly wanted it for the art, and I thought this game was really cool, but kind of just haven't thought about it in a while. That's for Returnal. It was a pretty cool game. You know, it's a roguelike, third-person shooter, sci-fi game with some mild horror elements, but the soundtrack, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Again, this was just really cheap, and I liked the art for it. So yeah, just kind of a little something. And now this one right here. This is the deep cut. That maybe I'd say probably 10% of the people watching this might know what this is. It's the Old Gods of Asgard. And if you don't know that name in particular, or you don't know it's Poets of the Fall and their alternate band, these are all songs from Remedy games that basically they made these different rock songs, like from Alan Wake, Control, Alan Wake 2, and there's also an original song on here, but these guys make some genuinely cool music, and all of these songs are bangers. It of course has an entire side dedicated to Herald of Darkness from Alan Wake 2, because you know that was kind of a big deal when it came out, but the other songs on here are phenomenal. And I actually ended up buying pretty much their entire vinyl collection, like the actual Poets of the Fall vinyl collection, because of this. Bet you didn't expect that cut. Neither did I. But then I realized I needed to get these boxes out. So, alright, proceeding onward. These are big boxes, so they're collections of vinyls. Some really cool stuff here that some of it probably are aware of, some of it might not be. So first off, I have my Final Fantasy XIV vinyl LP box. This is the Volume 1 set. It's got a Realm Reborn, Stormblood, Heavensward, and Shadowbringers. I'm a very large fan of Final Fantasy XIV, despite the current expansion patch being a little meh. It's kind of like the Stormblood era where it'll get better, I'm sure. But for the time being, I'm kind of in and out of it, just keeping the house alive. Phenomenal soundtrack, though. Soken is just, in my opinion, one of the best composers for Final Fantasy. I know that's going to be a controversial take, but he's made some pretty darn good music with Final Fantasy XIV and 16. 16 has a phenomenal soundtrack that I really wish I could get on vinyl, but that would be way too big. So this next one is also Final Fantasy XIV, but it's the Volume 2. This has the Volume 2s for A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and Endwalker, which basically encompasses the first major story arc of the series, or of the game. Some genuine gems in here, and one day I would love to just kind of sit down and just play through all of this and Volume 1. Because again, Soken, he knows what he's doing. All right, this is a cool one. A series I really enjoy. It's the Yakuza 0 box set. You've got 6 vinyls or 6 LPs, encompassing basically different aspects of the game. It's got really cool artwork of the different tattoos, the different characters on it. It's got everything you would want, from the action music to the karaoke, and it's just overall phenomenal package. I really need to get my hands on some more Yakuza, but at the time it was basically Yakuza 0 and then Like a Dragon, which Like a Dragon's a little bit different in the on the musical front, so I've kind of held off on that until it's a little cheaper on sale. Now this boy right here, this is a really cool one. It's if you don't know the art, that's okay. It's for Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. This is a game that was actually my first SMT game, and it, all the way back on the PS2. Really cool game. It is very hardcore. It's one of those things where, like, if someone's looking for a hard RPG, this is definitely one I recommend, just because it's chaotic and difficult and will just kill you and your entire party in seconds when you're not expecting it, making you go back to a save. And sometimes you saved like an hour ago and you don't want to play anymore, but then you pick it back up because you want to play more. And yeah, it's one of those games. Love it. Great soundtrack. Some really cool jams by Shoji Meguro. But moving on, Hi-Fi Rush, official soundtrack. So this one, it's interesting, and I had to have this when it got revealed. I'm glad I got it. The only thing is none of the licensed tracks are on it, which I understand, because there's a lot of bands that they would have to license from. But the original tracks that they have for the streamer mode are all here, and they're still pretty good. They're basically approximations of that licensed music. So I do like this a lot, and I really like the game a lot, and I highly recommend, if you haven't played it, give it a go. It might open you up to rhythm gaming, which is pretty darn cool if you ask me. Sorry about that. Father duties. You know how it is. Anyways, this next one's really special. I haven't opened it yet, and I really need to, because if you watched my my Switch games that I recommend video, I briefly mentioned that I kind of grew up with this series. It's a more recent entry. This is for Ys 8, the Lacrimosa of Dana, or Dana, however you want to pronounce it. I don't judge either way. This all Falcom music is phenomenal. Ys 8 in particular has a very special soundtrack that I think is personally timeless. Lots of great action music and some really cool, just serene, tropical island vibe music. Definitely recommend if you can find this. You can get it pretty cheap. I got it through a Japanese importer that had it for a really low price that I wasn't expecting to see when I went looking. So very happy to have this, and I really do need to crack this open sometime, because that'd be a lot of fun to listen through. These next two feel like cheating, but trust me, it's not. So right here, this game is very important to me. It basically was my introduction to the SMT franchise, or Shin Megami Tensei. Sorry if I throw the acronym at you like that. I didn't mean to scare you. This is for Persona 3, the PS2 version of Persona 3. So Persona 3, its official full title on PS2 was Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3. And this was basically my gateway into the entire franchise and basically Atlas in general back in the day. I ended up getting a copy of Persona 3 FES at my local game store, complete inbox for PS2, and it was kind of just like one of those moments where you pop a game in and you're like, this is just, it's just, you know what I mean? It's very rare a game does that for me where I actually genuinely am just like this is my game. Well, was my game at the time. And that leads us to my final box, that shouldn't come to anyone's surprise when I picked this up, because it is for Persona 3 Reload. I picked this up from, I think it was iam8bit. Yeah, iam8bit. Basically, they have a exclusivity deal with Atlas for some reason, and Sega. Pretty much all of the Persona soundtracks have been released through them. I picked this one up because, again, I love Persona 3 so much. It's just a very nostalgic game for me, and I really wanted to have, you know, the new recordings, the new arrangements of that original soundtrack, which is on here, along with a few of the new tracks. And this is just, it's pretty darn cool to have. And I have listened to this one a couple times now, and you know, it's got Color Your Night and all the goods. The When the Moon's Reaching Out Stars Reload version, which is an absolute banger. I had to reread the title of that one because it was a mouthful. But yeah, that's pretty much my game vinyl collection. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Like if you're interested in looking, there's definitely a few that I would like to have, like Klonoa 1 and 2. Definitely looking for those to pop up somewhere for decently, you know, reasonable prices. And I'm also on the hunt for Persona 4 and Persona 5. But yeah, so, you know, I just wanted to share that with y'all. It's just something a little different for the channel. Probably won't do anything too crazy like this again, unless it's, you know, does well and people like it. Maybe I'll do other collection related things. I've got quite the collection in here. Lots of stuff I can share. Some of historic value, and some that are just cool. So anyways, have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time.